I think the most often asked question that we get is, how did you know? Or like, kind of, what are the symptoms of diabetes? And I hesitate saying it like that because there aren't necessarily symptoms, but there's definitely some red flags and warning signs that if you have kids, or if you are a kid watching this video, pay attention to these, because this could end up saving your life. So
like she said at the beginning of the video, I was her teacher at the year that she was diagnosed. So there's 3 signs. One is frequent urination, another is excessive thirst, and the third is weight loss, extreme weight loss.
There's another one too, loss of appetite.
Okay. And she had all of them.
If you look up symptoms of diabetes, there's going to be a list. I had every single one. There was not a single symptom on any list that I did not have.
Right. So it had probably been going on for a few days. The week that she was diagnosed, we were in testing. So during the week of testing...
Yeah, for all my students, just so you know, I was in the middle of K-Prep when I found out I had diabetes.
Yeah, we were in testing. So we were having snacks every day that the parents brought in. We were having drinks. So she was a great student, and she kept asking. She would have to use the restroom or the hall pass or whatever. And she kept saying, she even said something to me about using it a lot. I'm like, don't worry about it. It's fine. It's just because we're having snacks and drinks or whatever. I came back to work before she did. But when I came back, she had water bottles lined up across the back of her desk where she was drinking so much. And I still had not even, because I didn't care because we were in testing, and I had not even paid attention. But when I came back and saw that, just all the signs were there. So there was a lot of guilt from me as a parent on not recognizing, and, that maybe she wouldn't have had to get to that state. But there's also been a lot of thankfulness because of how close she was to death, that it's just made me feel blessed that that's all we walked out with, because so many kids at Vandy did not have her outcome.
So as parents of diabetics, what would your advice be to other parents of non-diabetics and diabetics?
Keep a log of your numbers.
That's going to be your saving grace. That's how you're going to keep your numbers under control. That was good.
Throw in a little bit of whatever it makes them tick, whether it's going to get an ice cream, giving them $5 a week for doing the login, because they've got to log in a number. That's just one more thing on their already busy sports schedules and, normal homework schedules. They have, while everybody else is going back to class or whatever, they've got to report to someone, write down their number. Like, it's definitely an inconvenience. So you have to see it from the eyes of a child as much as possible. My advice to you as parents is take the worst of a situation and make it fun. And so, like Larry said, they had to go to Vandy 4 times a year. And it started out that we would both go, and then it got to where it was just the 2 of them. And it was a date. That's what we called it. She got to go out to eat. We've always just tried to turn it around and make a positive out of it.
Yeah, and I will say I did look forward to my doctor's appointments. Not because of the doctor's appointment, but just because I enjoyed going, because, got time with my parents. I got to eat wherever I wanted and whatever I wanted, and that was always fun. Yeah. And I really liked the doctors that I had. They were all really good doctors.
Hey, one other thing, too, that I would probably say is, if you ever get diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, you also need to recognize that it's not your fault.
Yes.
It is nothing that you have done. It's a disease that people can get. It is not the same as type 2 diabetes. It is very different. With type 1 diabetes, you have a part of your body that has quit working, and it's one of those freaks of nature type things that happens to certain people, and it it can definitely be hereditary. It caught us off guard because it does not run on either side of our family, so we got blindsided.
To any parent that could possibly get to see this video, the guilt that I had personally was rough, and I cried pretty much around the clock when I laid down at night. I really just had a hard time with everything. Not that I was upset that she had it, just the fact that we almost lost her, and I just kept going through the process.
Okay, talk about how you would handle discipline when on a regular basis versus when I was high. When my blood sugar is high, my mouth turns into a tornado and I don't know what's going to come out, and nobody else does either. I'm also very agitated all the time. I can be extremely mean. I can be bossy. I'm not a fun person to be around when my blood sugar is high.
You can't justify disciplinary actions based off of a health concern. If you had a high, we know as parents that's going to cause you to act in ways that aren't who you are, or you might put you in a situation where you respond poorly to circumstances. And we as a parent, you can't let the health situation define your parenting right there. You have to allow for the response or of the insulin to work to get things back to normal. And then maybe we would talk to you and say, hey, you did this a little while ago, and maybe you should go apologize for it or something.
You all never punished me when I made a mistake in my diabetes, did you?
No.
Like if we went to Mexican and I ate 75 carbs and didn't take a single drop of insulin because I forgot, and then I was 500, I was not in trouble.
I think being 500 was plenty of punishment.
Yeah, that's true.
And the brothers, if we can just throw in a little shout out to them, they have never questioned anything we've ever done to her because of her diabetes or the treatment that she got, which she did get a little bit of extra. And also, they have been so in tune with her that even as young children, they could help us recognize, like, hey, Mom, she seems low or high.
It's because I was mean to them. If I was overly mean to them, they'd be like, Mom, Adrian's high.
No, but they could look at you and see.
Yeah.
They definitely could look
There's
at
definitely
and see.
signs.
And
Like,
still now.
when my blood sugar gets high, I get red right here.
And if she's low, she looks
If I'm
desperate.
low, I get white and I shake. And sometimes when I get really low, my tongue stops moving and I can't speak. That's
Or
always
see.
that one's. Oh yeah, and I can't see. That the tongue one though is always fun because that's usually the scariest for people to see around me.
So hopefully we've educated you all a little bit and gave you an awareness of what Adrian's gone through.
One thing too, well, it might be more than one thing. She didn't let the diabetes slow her down for stuff. So it was just an extra step that she had to do. She still competed in sports. Like she even competed at the high school level on sports. She was on the high school soccer team. She didn't use it as a crutch to say, I can't do this and I can't do that. It was just ended up being, an extra part of a routine that she fit into her life.
Yeah, it was just one more hoop to jump through for me, which, it was never a big deal.
No. And you never wanted it to be a big deal.
I would get annoyed when people would talk about it or make a deal about it.
And still do.
And I still do. When people are like, oh, can you eat that with your diabetes?
You can still eat whatever you want, and you can eat as much as you want. You need to have a healthy lifestyle, which you're going to have that whether you have diabetes or not. But if you want to have birthday cake and you want to have 3 slices of it, then you can have 3 slices of birthday cake and have some extra celebration. You just have to take insulin for it.
Yep. For type 1s, it's not food, it's liquids. So I have basically banned any liquid that has carbs in it, which is why I drink only diet drinks. I don't touch lemonade. I don't touch sweet tea. I don't touch really ices. I don't touch Starbucks. I don't drink anything but water and diet drinks or zeros.
That's probably another good thing that you could probably bring up. So one of the conversations I actually had with the doctor was, how do we need to adjust our lifestyle to where we don't have to jump through all the hoops of taking insulin shots and all that stuff. I didn't realize that there's not really an adjustment that you can do for that because it was type 1 diabetes.
I didn't know you asked the doctor that.
Yeah, I had a conversation with the doctor about that.
How can we take less shots?
Well, it's not that.
How can we move away from taking shots?
I wanted to, I wanted to be more on the lines of how can we manage our, food and our household to accommodate for this, and that wasn't. That's a more of a type 2 diabetic question than a type 1.
Yeah. Complications that I get. So with diabetes, my immune system kind of like went down the pooper. So any type of sickness, I can go ahead and guarantee you I will have it. If I get a cut, more than likely it will be infected. And I've never had a super serious infection. I've had one that I had to go to the doctor. No, I've had more than one.
Mm-hmm.
I remember you cut your heel when you were shaving your legs one time with a razor.
Oh, that one was bad. I'll put a picture. I'll put a
we
picture
ended
here
up-
because I have a picture of it.
We had to go to the doctor for it. I'm like, if you cut yourself when you're shaving, like usually it's throw some toilet paper on it, no big deal. But we ended up with a doctor's appointment because of it. Because
Yeah.
Just wouldn't heal.
Yep. So now that I'm on a pump, I do have little sites that stay on my body for a couple days. And I remember one time I left it in way too long, and it got extremely infected. And that was a doctor trip that I ended up needing antibiotics for. And I probably have a picture of that as well, so I will put it on the screen.
What did your friends say?
I did have one friend ask me if it was contagious, and nobody had told me that, so I thought, oh gosh, I hope it's not. But it's not. Obviously, it's not contagious. I did have a lot of my friends want to watch me give myself a shot. They thought that was cool. Nobody really treated me any different. If I ever had to do something, like, step outside of the classroom to prick, or my pump would go off in class sometimes. Nobody ever said anything to me about it. Everybody was always extremely understanding. And I never got, picked on or bullied or anything like that. I don't know. My friends didn't really care. I think they were just glad I was alive. Yeah, their lives didn't really change that much. Wearing a pump was a huge transition. And I cannot tell you how many times it has, drop to the floor and hit the floor pretty hard, because I'll go to the bathroom and it just falls and hits the ground. And I've ripped a lot of stuff out of my legs changing clothes, and it getting stuck on my clothes and me ripping it out. Oh, we've been filming for over an hour. I hope it's still recording.
Probably
Ready to
recording.
go, man.
Okay. Alright, well, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed our story and you learned a thing or two. If you have diabetes, or if you're a parent to somebody with diabetes, it gets better. You get through it. I shouldn't have said that, because it really doesn't get better. That was kind of a joke.
I was thinking too, but I wasn't.
I was just going to say, if you learn to manage it, and I shouldn't have said it gets better. It gets easier. You learn to manage it better, and, if you're in a tough spot with it, you'll get through it. And I'm sorry, because it's not fun. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. Hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed our story and seeing my parents. Thanks, Dad. Subscribe. I'm uploading 3 days a week, so I hope you will come back for my next video. But I will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.
I did actually not put